Among the 7 major themes of Mahabharata, as narrated by Ved Vyas, Saudi mentions the greatness of Vasudeva, Gandhari's natural inclination towards dharma, Vidura's wisdom and presence of mind, Kunti's power of endurance of suffering under daring qualities, the Pandavas' sense of truth, and the wickedness of Kauravas. That greatness lay among all the themes is Krishna's utter selflessness in denying himself of any emperorship which was so easily accessible to him from his which course of his mind was so totally detached as to be unbelievable qualities of Krishna. The Krishna Anubhavam. He could have easily become an emperor. In his preference is to make good emperor than becoming an emperor himself. In his masterly strategies to overthrow the mightiest among the ambitious of the political power, in his extraordinary presence of mind and the balanced judgments of the men and matters around him, in his great political wisdom and acumen, in his unassuming nature of personality, which could play any role in the service of good and the godly, including that of a servant, a messenger, a charioteer, and an instructor. He has played all the roles to establish Dharma. Now coming to Krishna Anubhavam. The first ever occurrence of the Krishna on the grand stage of the Mahabharata is during the wedding of Panchali. The great scholars have arrived at the conclusion, looking at the Indian calendar and also the Western calendar, that at the time of Panchali's wedding, the age was around 20 years of 3091 BC. But had he met Pandavas before? There is nothing mentioned in Mahabharata. But in Sri Bhagavatham it is mentioned, which is another work of Ved Vyasa. In Bhagavatham it is mentioned that Krishna was just about 13 to 14 years of age when he killed Kamsa. And even at that age, he is endowed with the super ability of the savior of mankind. So when he attained almost 20 years of age, he is sending a message to Dhritarashtra through Akrura. Akrura is the chief minister of the ousted kingdom of Kamsa. So he chooses Akrura and he sends a message to Dhritarashtra, which is quite interesting. Many of this is missed in Mahabharata. He is sending a message. Let us look at the message. Hail you, the son of Vichitra Virya, Dhritarashtra, the firm earner of the Kuru dynasty. You are in the throne of Hastinapur now only because of the untimely demise of your brother Pandu. If you rule by right and please the people by straight and right character and by displaying a sense of fairness and equality among your sons and that of the cousins, the Pandavas, you will attain heavenly good and fame here on earth. If you behave otherwise, you will become a laughing stock of the world, and will sink into the darkness of the hell after the death. Therefore, be equal-minded to Pandavas as well as to your sons, and behave accordingly. No one can anyhow live forever on this earth. O King Dhritarashtra, one cannot keep eternal company with own body, leave alone with his wife or sons. One comes alone into life and disappears too alone. The good and evil deeds he does, he has to reap the consequences of that also alone. The property earned by evil means will one day be taken away by the foul means, by short-sighted men. It's like fish eating the other fish in the name of relations. What a remarkable message. It has added force of personality as good in the deeds as in words. Sri Krishna has but to extend the field of his activities from Gokula to Vrindavanam to Hastinapur. He's shifting. There is also a clear vision of the political aiming being rooted in Dhritarashtra more than in his own son Duryodhana. And so, the appropriateness of the choice of the recipient of this message is Dhritarashtra. The political message, indeed, sounds like a warning. We can call it as a warning, but mind you, it is also backed by a political wisdom behind it. It's always the characteristic of Sri Krishna. Like Gita, he says political wisdom, it's a political message with a philosophical wisdom. The quintessence of Gita is also here in this letter. What is mentioned in this letter? Life being transient. There is no use being attached to what one cannot take with oneself into the world beyond, and that one must do what is right without fear and favor to escape bondage. Such is the remarkable unity and majesty of Sri Krishna's personality and his message. The second instance in Sri Bhagavatham reveals that although Krishna, what exactly transpired in that so called wax place, he knows it. But even then, he also condoles the death of Pandavas along with Vitura, Bhishma, and all, because he thinks that time is not appropriate to reveal the truth that the Pandavas are alive. That means he kept sight of the track of the oppressed Pandavas carefully. That was characteristic of the shrewd politician that he was already becoming at this young age. Then we have the first reference in Mahabharata to Krishna's identifying with the Pandavas in Panjali's wedding, Swayamvara. He is from a distance seeing this, and he is sharing the secret information with Balrama and other Yadava chieftains. And he comes to the wedding. And why did Sri Krishna attend that Swayamvara? He had obviously no intention of participating in it. Draupadi was like his own sister, as he makes it several times in Mahabharata. Did he have a hand in the choice of the test that the marksman had to pass in winning the hand of Draupadi? Possibly, yes. Krishna meets Pandavas in Panjali's wedding, and he sees Kunti, and he introduces himself formally, in a formal way. Kunti greets him, Krishna, with so much of joy. We'll see about Kunti later. The five brothers are in now face to face with Krishna for the first time. Dharmaputra asks, how did you know us? Fire, though sought to be hidden, lets itself to be known by others. Obviously, replies Krishna. Who else could string that bow and shoot the target other than Arjuna? By God's grace, you all escaped from the fire trap of the Varanavata, and Duryodhana was deceived on his plot to burn you alive. Krishna tells. So Krishna blesses the Pandavas. It's additional spiritual emphasis at the end, and he takes leave of them to Dwaraka. The message gives a valuable of Krishna's style and direction of political diplomacy. He liked the Pandavas not because they are blood relations, but for their steadfastness in truth and their love of the righteous. The refrain in the Mahabharata that Krishna is on the side of the right and success is where there is right is amply justified in these words. Yata dharmos tata Krishna. Yato Krishna tato jayah.